All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. We're back with The Walking Dead this week. Skipped last week because I didn't really care to make a video for it. But we're back with Season 9, Episode 13, Lucky 13. And it's called Chokepoint, so full spoilers if you haven't seen the episode. The one thing that I wish I had made a video for last week would be the introduction of Beta, played by Ryan Hurst. I have been looking forward to this part of the show, wondering if they're going to keep the mask on him like the whole time pretty much, because I almost feel like you need to, and I really hope that they go that route, even though as an actor you want your face to be seen and shit like that. You know, who knows who we are behind the mask, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, he's on Talking Dead right now, so anybody that watches it will know who they're, you know, dealing with. But Beta is a pretty cool character. In fact, I prefer him over Alpha, to be honest with you. Just to let you know, since I've pretty much checked out of this show, kind of. I know people don't like hearing that. I've been giving it a chance since the end of Rick Grimes' run, and I don't like the direction it's headed. So I'm done doing my reviews the way I used to. I'm spoiling everything. So my reviews for this now are pretty much strictly for people who read the comic and the show, watch the show, and don't mind talking about it. Because I'm done hiding all this stuff anymore and having to say spoilers to everybody who hasn't read the comic. Because it's just, I feel impeded at this point that since I'm not enjoying the show at the same level I used to, I'm just going to talk about it how I want to. That's just a warning, you know, for anybody who just goes, oh my God, I didn't need to know that yet. So going forward, that's how this is going to be. So yeah, I wish I could have, you know, I wanted to say something about Beta, and I wanted to say something about the Highwaymen too, because that's just another weird little wrinkle here. But this episode, okay, let's get the bad out of the way right now. Let's just get the bad out of the way so I can talk about the good, because there are some things that I really, really liked about this week's episode. And I think you know where I'm headed if you watch any of my Walking Dead videos. So, look, in the comic, Carl becomes the thing with Lydia. They run off. They come back. It's this whole thing basically set in motion that causes... The simplest thing is just give the fucking girl back. And stay out of their territory. Now, I don't know if I talked about this already, but in the comic, their territory is as the world has gotten bigger in the Walking Dead comic, they're pushing out forward. They're pushing out further and further and further. And it makes sense that eventually they run across this territory that they didn't know they were crossing a boundary with these whisperers. And so things go bad, but it's like it comes from like when people first came to this country and impeded on the land of the Native Americans. And every time you go further and further out, you keep running into newer and newer people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened in the book. What I don't get is it doesn't seem to be that same way in the show. And if it is, they have not mentioned it really. They talk about where you're not supposed to be. We don't really know. Like, it doesn't feel like they've been pushing out that far. That if they'd been pushing out that far, getting to the Whisperers' territory would take a really, really long time. But they don't really seem to have a territory. And it seems to be that they've been active in this area for a good long time. And if they didn't run into anybody, during Rick Grimes' tenure, they certainly should have during the 5 or 6 years, whatever years, how many years it's been since the time jump. It doesn't make sense. And anybody who wants to yell at me in the comments about, you know, distance and geography, go right ahead and waste your time, because you'd be falling on deaf ears. Because it doesn't track. It just doesn't make any sense. And with the whole Henry situation, like I said, he's taking Carl's storyline, which is fine. And it was kind of annoying in the comic as well, to me. My opinion. is that the whole Carl going after Lydia, knowing that this is all could have been avoided. And, you know, this is where Robert Kirkman wanted to tell his story. This is what he wanted to do, and it's fine. This is where he wanted to go, then that's where he wanted. I don't have to like it. But in that story, it annoyed me too that this all could be avoided. So it felt really, you know, and unlike other Robert Kirkman, you know, in other Walking Dead stories that Kirkman writes, it didn't feel that manufactured. In this, it just felt like they were purposely asking for it. Like he was like, how do we do it? Well, I don't have a good reason to do it, so here's a bad reason almost. And so they got written that way. And all of these people that died because of this in this Whisperer War, it was to me, lazy writing. To me, it was lazy writing in the book. And they're even doing worse here. Trying to and again, it's kind of hard watching it after seeing it kind of on the paper. It's kind of like, why is this happening? Just let the kids run away or whatever, you know what I mean? But we can't. We have to have the conflict, but then the conflict feels more manufactured. So, and again, just not caring what happens to Henry. You know, of course, in the very opening scene of this, he falls down like in a horror movie. I'm like, of course it's Henry that fell. And every single thing, and this is, again, this is where the show is headed, is we are gonna be up to our fucking ears with Henry. And so everything that had to do with him and that storyline and the thing with the Whisperer's territory sucked, as it always sucks. Now let's get to the good stuff, okay? So the good stuff is dealing with the highwaymen. That was great. They do things smartly. And you know, Carol, who is a great killer, can also be really smart about things. She's a smart lady. And so just coming up with the idea that, look, we're going to talk first, because come on, this wasn't the way Carol used to do things, but now she's learning, she's adapting, she's evolving. And so, hey, let's talk, let's figure this out. But it doesn't mean that she's also not going in there with a plan, without a plan. And so when they go to this thing to meet this guy, who is, of course, played by a guy who's a douche and asshole in everything that he's been in, I believe. He's good at it, don't get me wrong. And the whole cowboy hat thing, I don't know, almost made me laugh out loud. So they're like, come on, they're like Savior Light. You know what I mean? Like, they're just literally like, this guy's like the new Negan, right? Is this what they're, you know, like, and so I just honestly feel like, yes, it's nice that they were being diplomatic with these assholes, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to just see them cut these people down to show that we're not letting another Negan come rolling up in this bitch. But no. And I respect this, though. Is that Carol turns it around. And she does it, it didn't feel manufactured. It was good writing. To just simply try to slowly ease the conversation into a more lighter tone than it was at the beginning. Where people have knives to their throats and everybody's ready to kill each other. And all she had to do was eventually, in that conversation, get to something universal, which is, hey, when was the last time you guys saw a movie? And it breaks down the defenses. It takes them aback. It gives them pause. It reminds them of being human. It reminds them of what used to be. And Carol pulled it off. And that was a really, really well done situation. Every part of that was great. The whole fair that is the coming, and they got the statue of Shiva and everything. It looks really good. It looks really much like the comics. I thought it was at Alexandria that the fair happened, but again, that's just a minor thing. But I think what they're trying to do here, by putting it in the kingdom, is that I don't think any of them saw Alpha. I think that's their little way of working around how Alpha is going to, and again, I've said spoilers for everything, comics and everything, okay, this is coming. Is Alpha's infiltration of the fair and how shit is going to go down. I think that's why they put it at the kingdom. But she hasn't been to Alexandria either. But I think some of the people from Alexandria were at Hilltop. So I think they're trying to write themselves into a situation that lets people like me not be able to answer the question of why wouldn't anybody recognize her. The other good thing about this is the execution of the plan by Daryl and Connie. I thought that was done really well, even though it has to do with Henry's fucking stupid ass. Oh, and I'm gonna lump Lydia in there too, because I don't really care for her as a character. And it's not their fault that they can't really act that well. They're kids, but still. Anyway, I'm just wow. I'm kind of letting myself off the chain a little bit here. But the execution of it all, and I'm going to start it right here if anybody hasn't said it already. Connie and Daryl. I can see that being a thing. She doesn't talk much. He doesn't talk much. She wouldn't annoy him with nagging. I mean, she might annoy him, like there might be a conversation later in the show where he goes, if I have to hear you writing shit down in the middle of the night. But no, and it was really smart. They had they had a really good plan. Even the Whisperers, who they called the zombies guardians, right? I love this. I just love this. It's so hilarious. The Whisperers is, like, I know I jump around a lot, but the Whisperers storyline is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I love it, but it's come on, it's crazy, and they still look like rubber masks. They look like a bunch of people who robbed a Halloween store. Yeah, I don't know, but when they get there, and even the Whisperers notice that the traps are set for them, they're separating us from the Guardians or the Walkers. There's so many fucking names for those things now. But then when they get up there and they just quickly, they slowly but surely, get rid of them. And then the dog becomes a part of the thing, which is cool. And then Daryl versus Beta, which it was a good fight. It's just Beta's supposed to, in the comic, Beta is like a wall. Okay, when Negan faces off with Beta in the comic, it is epic. For a reason that if they do it in the show will become quite apparent. I will not spoil this part. But let's just say that Beta takes a hit that would have knocked down anybody. And Daryl kind of hits him pretty easily. He kind of handles him. I mean, he takes his blows from Beta, but he's able to handle him a little bit better than I think he would in the comic. But I do love that he turns the tables on him, gets, into the Millennium Falcon trap doors type of thing, the little hidey holes, the smuggling doors. Don't know why it made me think of that. And then pushes Beta into the elevator shaft and he walks away, and of course he's dead. Beta's dead. That was it. Not so tough, was he? Didn't have to pay Ryan Hurst a bunch of money. But then, we get to Tara fighting the zombies, and, they're not going to kill the baby and they're not going to kill the old couple. So that was just kind of whatever. I mean, it is weird seeing Brett Butler and the guy who played Michael Krichkow in the X-Files on this show. It's just weird. But then you get the highwaymen come and help them out, and, hey, we're here at your service, which I guess is cool. It's nice that they're able to turn a group and actually help them. For how long, I don't know. But Tara and Cowboy guy kind of gave each other a look. I don't know. I'm not shipping them or anything, but that was a really strange exchange between the two of them. Maybe Tara knows this guy and not from the past. Who knows? I'm just throwing him out here because, like I said, all rules are out the window. We're talking about anything. So that was it. I mean, it was a pretty good episode. Oh, also, by the way, Magda, right? I like her as a character. It's been bugging me, though. Who does she remind me of? She reminds me of Lady Gaga's character, the way she looks in A Star Is Born a little bit. I don't know what it was, but today I was just thinking, man, Magda looks like Lady Gaga. I don't know. I'm still digging those slingshots too. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, we hold on. We do get the reveal that Beta's still alive, and I don't know why that shot took so long. Why they needed to have him get all the way up and stand there and looking up for a good minute. That scene went on for. I don't know if it needed to go on for that long, but whatever. Next week's episode looks pretty intense. And yeah, you know, I am looking forward to it. I did need to skip last week because it just wasn't doing it for me. So, but I am glad that Ryan Hurst is playing beta. I don't think I could have thought of it. You know, if I had some time to think about it, I could probably come up with a better beta. But I think Ryan Hurst is a good fit for that. He's already kind of got that shaggy biker look anyway. So, not like maybe he was on a biker show. Just kidding. I know he was, but anyway, I've talked about this longer than anything I've talked about today, and so. Better stop while I'm ahead. So if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Otherwise, we will be back with more Walking Dead next week. We've got Deadly Class on Wednesdays. We're doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1. We're doing all the episodes of that, and we still got the MCU reviews coming. I'm doing Avengers. Age of Ultron is next on the docket, coming up in the next day or so. And yes, I am still planning on doing a best of Game of Thrones. That just kind of got put on the back burner for a second. But anyway, that's all still coming. So anyway, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the support that everybody's been giving me. And we will see you next time.